Maserati's Jehan Daruvala just recently scored his first Formula E points finish, and he's joining us here today to talk about that, his journey so far in Formula E, and lots more. Thank you for joining us, Jehan.
Thank you very much.
Firstly, let me congratulate you on your first points in Formula E. It was a difficult weekend though because you had to charge from the back of the field essentially. So just take us through the Misano E-Prix weekend.
Yeah, it was honestly a weekend of ups and downs. It started super well in free practice, being in the top five. Yeah, qualifying on Saturday, I was going, really well. Uh, Actually, I would have easily made it into the duels, but I had a power cut, so I couldn't finish my lap. So that was frustrating. Starting from the back, we tried a strategy to kind of move forward to the race, but it wasn't really easy. And then I got frustratingly taken out on the last lap. Saturday was again, the day was looking promising. I only had myself to blame in qualifying. Uh, I had three push laps, and every one of them I made quite big mistakes on, trying to overdrive, try to get through into the duel. So I was pretty upset and disappointed after qualifying. But in the race, it all turned around. I kind of went with the opposite strategy to all the cars around me. I knew everyone from uh, at the back of the field. I'm gonna just try to be super aggressive, try to make up positions. But I decided for the first 10 laps, I will just sit at the back of the field and try to put as much energy in the bag as possible so I can use it at the end of the race. And it worked out super well in the end. I managed to score a couple of points, and in the end, we executed our strategy as a team to perfection. They were constantly in touch with me through the race, giving me really good feedback, telling me I was up on energy to the cars around me. So just to keep going, and the race will come to me, and not to rush things as it's going on.
Right. And tell me about the transition from Formula 2 to Formula E because you've had to adapt to a very different style of driving.
Yeah, it's been really difficult. I'm not gonna lie. In Formula 2, you kind of start near the front, you finish at the front. You have to manage your tires a bit. Here, anything can happen. Every small overuse of energy is gonna come back to bite you at the end of the race. It's so super difficult. When you're on the car, you feel like if you lift the car behind you, it's just gonna overtake. But when you do not lift when you should, then they're gonna overtake you at the end of the race anyway. So it's been a huge learning curve for me, especially in the races. I feel like I'm learning more and more every race. So it's great that I have built up some experience and managed to use that to score a couple of points. It felt good to have energy to be able to use it, and I think I'm gonna keep on learning. The season has many more races to go. With the tracks coming up, I expect to have many more of these peloton style races where people are driving side by side, saving energy, and strategically trying to move up through the field. So it's really different to what I'm used to. But I'm really enjoying it. It reminds me of my go-karting days, where guys are 3-4 abreast pretty much every lap from lap one to the end of the race. So yeah, it's fun. It's difficult to keep your nose clean. There's a lot of bumping and barging here and there, but it's new, but I'm really enjoying the challenge.
Just tell me about what aspect of Formula E has surprised you the most because I know a lot of drivers describe racing in Formula E as playing a game of chess at high speed. So what's taken the most getting used to?
Uh, yeah, I would say the thing is every race has its own challenge. So I feel like I'm just learning in the race itself. I feel like the double header weekends suit me better, because as a rookie, I kind of have the the Friday or Saturday to learn and implement that on a Sunday. So I kind of feel like that helps me, and it helps me learn and understand the racing better. But yeah, it's super complex. It is like playing chess at high speed. One wrong move, and you can lose the race in one bad move straight away. So yeah, it is difficult. It always when you're in your meetings with your engineers, you always have a plan. You try to stick to them. The plans always sound straightforward and easy, but then when you get into the car and you're fighting against 20 other guys who want to do the same thing. It's definitely not easy. So yeah, I feel like I'm learning. I feel like this type of racing does suit me. I feel like I have a good mental capacity in the car. I feel like you have to do a lot of changes while you're driving, and that sort of stuff. Kind of suits me. It's more about me getting used to it and being able to deliver.
All right. And you're the only rookie on the grid this year. Does that come with added pressure because you're going up against these drivers who have years of experience?
I would say yes. There's a lot of pressure. Obviously, I'm driving for a great brand. Driving for Maserati MSC Racing in my first year of Formula E is definitely not easy. There's a lot of expectations obviously to do well. But yeah, it's a super competitive field. Being the only rookie here, I would say it's the hardest rookie year or the biggest challenge I've had as a rookie across any championship that I've driven in so far. It's so different to what I'm used to. It's not just driving fast and on the limit in the race. It's about understanding all the aspects of the car, understanding all the aspects about energy management, and this stuff really only comes with experience. So you cannot buy experience in the end. It goes to show why all the teams want drivers with experience. They're hesitant to give rookies opportunities in Formula E because it is difficult to come in and do well. But yeah, I'm grateful for this opportunity. I've had some experience under my belt now, and hopefully in the second half of the season, these points that I scored will give me confidence going forward.
Right. And after Misano, you mentioned that even though it's already been 6 races, there's so much more for you to still learn. So, with that in mind, going ahead, what are your goals for the season? What are the areas that you really want to work on?
Oh yeah, I think tidying up my qualifying is something that I feel like I need to definitely work on. I feel like I have the potential in qualifying, but I do end up making some mistakes here and there. And the other thing is, yeah, using this confidence in the races, keeping a calm mind. And I think the goal in the coming weekends is try to be as close to the points and in the points in every weekend.
All right. And coming up, of course, you are going to Monaco. It's a circuit that you've enjoyed success at in the past. So, does that give you a bit more confidence knowing you're going to a venue that you are strong at?
Yeah, it does give me confidence. I do believe I can have a good weekend in Monaco. Especially qualifying is super fun, always to drive in Monaco. But then in Formula E, the races are also fun. There's a lot of overtaking in Monaco as well. So it brings a new challenge for me. In Monaco, I'm always used to like qualifying, deciding the race, and that's pretty much it. But this weekend is going to be another new challenge. I still expect Monaco to be a bit of slipstreaming in the races, a bit of peloton, the pack following each other closely. But I do think qualifying will be a lot more crucial than we saw in Misano. So yeah, the goal is obviously to start off the weekend strong from free practice, build on that, and try to have a good quali in the race.
Right. And earlier, Formula E was all about street tracks. The whole peg was to bring racing to the fans in city centers. But I think recently the championship's been moving away from it. This year, I think Tokyo and Monaco are the only true, real, street tracks that we have. What is your take on it? Do you prefer this move to more permanent circuits?
I think our balance of both is good. They bring their own challenges. But I do like street tracks, but not too narrow. I think Monaco is a good balance of both. I think yeah, Mexico is also a bit of a street track, but I think yeah, Formula E is doing a good balance of both. Right now we have two. I don't really have a preferred choice, to be honest, because I do enjoy driving on street tracks, but then on the bigger tracks, you feel like you have more opportunities in the race to move forward. So yeah, there's it's both has their pluses and minuses, but yeah, I don't really have much of a preference, to be honest.
Right. And Formula E has always had this bit of an India connect. Mahindra has been part of the championship since the very start. You're racing here now. And clearly, India is a key market for Formula E because they have extended the broadcasting deal with Sony. Unfortunately, the second Hyderabad E-Prix was cancelled at the last moment. So, what potential do you see this championship having in India? And does it really need a race over here to keep growing?
I think it does have great potential. Having the deal with Sony for the next 3 years is obviously really good for Indian motorsport in general. Yeah, it's good to have at least a world championship on TV in India. In the end, I think Formula E needs to come back to India. It would be really nice for it to come back to India. I think there's a lot of people who do enjoy this championship. I think it's different to Formula One. It's different to other championships. You never know who's going to win. All the drivers are super competitive, super close. All the teams are pushing the edge and all being always. You can never predict the winner. So I think yeah, I think the last time the fans did enjoy the race in Hyderabad, the drivers enjoyed the race there. So if not Hyderabad, also I think India can do a good job at getting a race in another track as well.
And lastly, of course, I have to ask you, is Formula One still a goal? Are there any regrets about not making that jump from F2 to F1 workout?
I mean, I don't really have any regrets to be honest, because yeah, I growing up I did everything yeah to go to Formula One. Nowadays, the opportunities are very limited. Even guys who are winning in Formula Two don't end up progressing to Formula One. There are not many seats opening. If you see, even in Formula E, it's super competitive. There are not many seats that have opened in the last few years. So yeah, I think I was clever. I made my choice pretty early that I wanted to be a professional racing driver, and Formula E was the best opportunity for me. So yeah, now honestly, I don't really have Formula One in my mind that much. I want to make sure I do a good job in Formula E and try to stay here as long as possible and make a good career here.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here, Jehan, and good luck for the upcoming races.
Thank you.